Thomas Castellanos, a threat or a hype? Analyzing his impact on the FSU-Alabama game. A.J. McCarron roasts Florida State QB's crazy Alabama trash talk college football beef. A.J. McCarron calls out Thomas Castellanos. This is stupidity. Alabama legend A.J. McCarron shuts down Florida State QB's trash talk 2025 season opener hype. A.J. McCarron unleashes on FSU QB Thomas Castellanos. Stupidity in Alabama trash talk. Thomas Castellanos, a threat or a hype? Analyzing his impact on the FSU-Alabama game. A recent analysis from an Alabama-based website suggests that Florida State quarterback Thomas Castellanos might not pose much of a threat to the Crimson Tide's defense when the two teams meet in August. But here's where it gets interesting. Castellanos' comments about his new team's talent levels sparked a firestorm, even if his words were more about his own growth than a direct jab at Alabama. While some Seminole fans bristled at his confidence, I actually think it's a good sign. Every great quarterback needs to believe in their ability, even if it feels a bit bold. The question is, will that confidence translate to game day? And this is the part people often overlook. Stats alone don't tell the whole story. The website in question points out that Castellanos' passing efficiency numbers, 150.56, which would rank top 15 in FBS, were built against teams with weak pass defenses, like Virginia Tech, number 40, and Louisville, number 53. But here's the catch. Alabama's secondary improved significantly last season, and with a more cohesive unit this year, they could shut down a less dynamic passer. However, this analysis misses a key point. Castellanos isn't just a pocket passer. He thrives when he scrambles, extending plays and forcing defenses to cover more ground. Florida State's offensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn, is likely to lean into that strength, using screen passes and read option plays to keep the offense balanced. But here's the real controversy. The real challenge for Castellanos might not be Alabama's defense, but FSU's offensive line. If the front five can't handle Alabama's pass rush, Castellanos' mobility might not matter. The Seminoles added some transfer portal talent, but many of those players missed spring practice due to injuries. Still, FSU has had the entire offseason to prepare. So, is Castellanos a threat? The answer isn't clear-cut. Stats paint one picture, but football is about more than numbers. What do you think? Do you believe Castellanos can outplay Alabama's defense? Or will the Seminoles' offensive line be the deciding factor? Share your take in the comments. This one could spark. A.J. McCarron roasts Florida State QB's crazy Alabama trash talk college football beef. Confidence versus reality. A.J. McCarron fires back at Florida State QB's bold claims. In a rare preseason clash between pride and pragmatism, former Alabama QB A.J. McCarron has sounded the alarm about Thomas Castellanos' bombastic predictions after the Florida State transfer declared war on the Crimson Tide's upcoming season opener. But here's the kicker, Castellanos hasn't exactly earned the target on his back yet. The quarterback, who won just 4 games in his final season at Boston College before transferring to FSU, has been talking big lately. Big enough that even the most casual college football fan would say, is he serious? I've been dreaming of taking on the Crimson Tide since childhood, Castellanos recently boasted to On3 Sports. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Then there was the ACC curtain call. I feel like I dominated the ACC single-handedly for the last 2 years, and now I'm with the squad. But context matters. Florida State went 2-10 last year, finishing dead last in the ACC. Castellanos? He lost his starting job at BC and watched his accuracy slip to 9th in the conference. So when McCarron sat down with the Dynasty podcast, he didn't hold back. Where do you even start? McCarron chuckled. You're joining a team that was 17th out of 17 teams in the ACC. You lost the starting job after finishing 9th in the conference. Confidence is one thing. This is just over the top. He got brutally specific. You've added fuel to the fire, brother. I wouldn't want your job on opening day if you paid me. No matter how flashy your plays are, when those Alabama defenders hit you in the pocket and your accuracy starts dropping like it did last season, you'd better find that rhythm fast. Otherwise, it's going to be a long night. The clash between these two programs is shaping up to be way more interesting than anyone expected. Florida State's August 30th opener against Alabama in Tallahassee could be the perfect storm. A hungry underdog QB with something to prove facing the SEC's perennial powerhouse. But here's the elephant in the room. If FSU had to play this game on the road, would Castellanos still be talking this game? McCarron's take is clear, confidence is good, but delusion is dangerous. So we'll leave you with this. When do you think athletes cross the line between confidence and recklessness? Is Castellanos' boldness inspiring or idiotic? Sound off in the comments. AJ McCarron calls out Thomas Castellanos. This is stupidity. This is a clash of egos and pride that's heating up the college football world. When Florida State's Thomas Castellanos called out Alabama during a recent interview with On3, former Crimson Tide quarterback AJ McCarron didn't take it lightly. He called the comment stupidity on the Dynasty podcast, sparking a firestorm of debate. But here's where it gets controversial. McCarron's criticism isn't just about the words. It's about the context, the history, and the unspoken rules of college football. Castellanos, the FSU quarterback, openly expressed his desire to face Alabama, a team that has dominated under Nick Saban. But McCarron pointed out that Castellanos lost his starting job at Boston College last year and transferred to FSU after reuniting with Gus Malzahn, who he'd worked with at UCF. You're going to a team that was 17th in the ACC, McCarron said, but you left a team where you finished 9th. This isn't just confidence, it's recklessness. McCarron also highlighted that Castellanos played under Bill O'Brien, a former Alabama offensive coordinator. O'Brien, he argued, could offer valuable insights into Alabama's strategies. Call him up, McCarron advised, and ask how Alabama plays. If you're not prepared, you'll regret it. Castellanos defended his stance, saying, I've always dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them now. I'm excited. I've always started fast, and this is the moment I've been waiting for. And this is the part most people miss. The game isn't just about the players. It's about the pressure, the expectations, and the reality that even the best can stumble. Do you think Castellanos is overconfident, or is he just being realistic? The answer might depend on how you see the game and how you see yourself in it. What's your take? Sound off in the comments. Alabama legend AJ McCarron shuts down Florida State QB's Trash Talk 2025 season opener hype. Imagine stepping into a lion's den, armed with nothing but bravado, and shouting, I'm untouchable. That's the bold, and some might say reckless, move made by Florida State's quarterback Thomas Castellanos, who decided to throw verbal jabs at Alabama before their season opener. But here's where it gets juicy. Alabama legend AJ McCarron, a former quarterback with a trophy case full of accolades, didn't just sit back quietly. Instead, he fired back with a warning that's got everyone talking. Curious about what happens when trash talk meets reality? Let's dive into this heated exchange and unpack the lessons, risks, and stakes involved. On July 5th, 2025, at 2:33 p.m., with an update just minutes later at 2:37 p.m., the sports world buzzed with the latest drama in college football, courtesy of AL.com's Alabama football coverage. The story revolves around a classic case of confidence, or is it overconfidence, as Boston College transfer Thomas Castellanos stirred the pot ahead of Florida State's clash with Alabama, scheduled for Saturday, August 30th, 2025, at 2:30 p.m. This game marks the kickoff of the 2025 season, and Castellanos seems to think he's already got the upper hand. But let's rewind for a moment. If Castellanos had taken a moment to seek advice from someone who's been in the trenches, like former Alabama quarterback AJ McCarron, he might have chosen a different strategy. McCarron, speaking on his podcast The Dynasty, available on YouTube, offered some sage wisdom that could have saved Castellanos from a potential firestorm. Here's my advice, McCarron said. If you're in Thomas's shoes, zip it, put in the hard work, and let your performance on the field speak for itself. In other words, why poke the bear when you could quietly prepare to outplay it? Instead, Castellanos took a riskier path, one that's got fans and analysts buzzing. In an interview with On3 this summer, he didn't hold back. I can't wait for this, he declared. If you look at my track record, we always come out swinging in the first game. I've dreamed of facing Alabama, and let's be real, they don't have Nick Saban to bail them out anymore. I don't see them stopping me. Bold words, right? But here's where it gets controversial. Is Castellanos' confidence a sign of mental toughness, or is it a rookie mistake that could haunt him all season? McCarron, for one, wasn't impressed. In fact, he seemed almost baffled by the quarterback's bravado. Where do you even begin with this? McCarron asked on his podcast. You're transferring to a Florida State team that ranked dead last, 17th out of 17 in the ACC. And you're coming from Boston College, where you lost your starting spot and finished 9th in the conference. Confidence is great, but this borders on foolishness. McCarron's critique highlights a key lesson for athletes and even beginners in any competitive field. Confidence is powerful, but it needs to be backed by results, not just words. For example, imagine a new employee at a company boasting about outperforming veterans without first proving their skills. Chances are they'd face skepticism, too. And this is the part most people miss. McCarron didn't just criticize, he offered a practical suggestion. He urged Castellanos to reach out to Bill O'Brien, the former Alabama offensive coordinator who now coaches at Boston College. Pick up the phone and talk to Bill, McCarron advised. Ask him what it's really like to face Alabama, their players, their intensity, their speed. Bill will tell you straight, Thomas, you might want to keep quiet and focus on your game plan. This advice underscores the value of seeking mentorship, especially when stepping into uncharted territory. Even if Castellanos and O'Brien don't see eye to eye, the insight could be a game changer. McCarron went further, painting a vivid picture of what Castellanos might face on game day. You've just lit a match under Alabama, my friend, he warned. I wouldn't want to be in your cleats for that first game, no matter how fast you run or how well you throw. Once you're in the pocket and start taking hits, that accuracy you struggled with last season, you'd better sharpen it fast because it's going to be a long day otherwise. For those new to football, this is a great example of how mental and physical toughness are tested in high-stakes games. A quarterback's accuracy, his ability to throw the ball precisely to his receivers, can crumble under pressure, especially against a powerhouse like Alabama, known for its speed, size, and relentless defense. McCarron also pointed out a critical gap in Castellanos' perspective: experience. It's clear you've never played in the SEC or faced a team like Alabama, he said. You have no idea what you're up against, the athleticism, the sheer physicality. This is a reminder that confidence without context can be dangerous. For instance, think of a chess player trash-talking a grandmaster without ever having faced one. Boldness is admirable, but it's knowledge and preparation that win games. Now, Castellanos' words aren't just a fleeting comment. They're a challenge that will echo through the summer as Alabama gears up for the opener. You've opened your mouth, and now you've got to deliver, McCarron cautioned. If you don't, you'll hear about it all year, and you might find yourself back in the transfer portal, looking for another team. This raises an interesting question. Does trash talk motivate a player to perform better, or does it set them up for failure by adding unnecessary pressure? Some athletes thrive under scrutiny, while others crack. What do you think? Does Castellanos have what it takes to back up his words, or has he bitten off more than he can chew? But here's where it gets controversial. Some fans argue that Castellanos' trash talk is exactly what college football needs: more personality, more drama, more excitement. After all, in an era where players are often coached to give safe, generic answers, isn't it refreshing to hear someone speak their mind? On the flip side, others see it as disrespectful, especially to a program like Alabama, which has a legacy of dominance under coaches like Nick Saban. What's your take? Does trash talk add spice to the game, or does it cross a line into arrogance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is one debate that's sure to spark some heated opinions. For more Alabama football insights, check out these related stories from AL.com. How Alabama is crushing it in a crucial recruiting area, leaving others in the dust. A look at the 6 NCAA violations Alabama recently self-reported. What's on the list? How Alabama's in-state recruiting for 2026 stacks up against rival Auburn. What Alabama's latest five-star recruit reveals about new coach Kalen Deboer's strategy compared to Nick Saban's era. A fun feature on AL.com's Alabama Crimson Tide quarter-century team covering 2000 to 2025. This story was brought to you by Nick Kelly, AL.com's Alabama beat writer. You can follow him on X or Instagram for the latest updates on all things Crimson Tide. Asterisk note, if you click on links in this article to buy products or sign up for services, we might earn a small commission. By using our site, you agree to our user agreement and acknowledge that your clicks, interactions, and personal data may be collected, stored, and shared with us and our third-party partners, as outlined in our privacy policy. Asterisk. A.J. McCarron unleashes on FSU QB Thomas Castellanos. Stupidity in Alabama trash talk. The college football world is abuzz with controversy after Florida State quarterback Thomas Castellanos made some bold comments about Alabama, and former Crimson Tide quarterback A.J. McCarron is firing back with a scathing rebuke. But here's where it gets controversial. McCarron didn't just disagree with Castellanos, he called his comments stupidity. The drama began when Castellanos, a transfer from Boston College, boasted about his past performances in the ACC and claimed that Florida State's Week 1 matchup against Alabama wouldn't be a challenge. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me, he said, touting his ability to tour the ACC up by my damn self. And this is the part most people miss. Castellanos was not just confident, he was also warning Alabama that Florida State now has weapons after ranking fourth worst nationally in scoring offense last season. McCarron, a three-time BCS national champion at Alabama, took issue with Castellanos' comments on the Dynasty podcast. Where do you even start? McCarron said. You're going to a team that was 17th out of 17 teams in the ACC. You're leaving a team and lost the starting job where you finished 9th in the ACC. Listen, I'm all for confidence, but this is stupidity. McCarron invoked Bill O'Brien, the current Boston College head coach and former Alabama offensive coordinator, as someone who could have offered Castellanos a much-needed reality check. Just ask if he still has a relationship, which I doubt he does because he yanked him from his starting job, but Bill O'Brien, McCarron said. Call him up. Ask Bill how Alabama is, what type of players they have, how they play the game, and let O'Brien tell you. Hey, Thomas, you might want to stay quiet on this one. Just go out and play. McCarron's criticism is not just about Castellanos' comments, but also about his background. Castellanos started 20 games for Boston College the past 2 seasons, throwing for 3,614 yards with 33 touchdowns and 19 interceptions while completing 58.6% of his passes. However, he lost his starting job before transferring to Florida State. You just added fuel to the fire, McCarron continued. Brother, I promise you, I wouldn't want to be you the first game of the year. I don't care how well you can run, how well you can throw it. Once you stand in that pocket and get hit a couple times, that accuracy that dipped, that cost you the starting job, you'd better find it quick this offseason and during that game because it ain't gonna be good. So, do you think McCarron was too harsh on Castellanos, or was he just speaking the truth? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thomas Castellanos, a threat